Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Seraphic Deliverance episode 30 with Mother Mary of the Second Coming. I called it the Lord's Divine Court Cases, Descending Deacon, and my pal, and Crazy African Priest. So there's not too much action going on, but I had obviously encounters with all kinds of people. And I could probably add here Indian man as well because he's in the picture. That was an interesting conversation, by the way. I didn't expect it. He came to me like in a rush, and I just wondered. I was curious what's with him. And the conversation ended quite quickly, actually. So yeah, some people just have like a build up and they're like staring and they're like planning and they're running to me and then poof, they evaporated. That was him. Okay, so I'm going to start with a prayer. This was a super quick one. I did not generate it. I just asked for something specific and the AI gave me like a kilometer of a prayer. And then I said, okay, I'll take the first sentence. Heavenly Father, bless the whole world with your peace, mercy, and truth. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Doing the cross sign on yourself is a symbol for heart-mind coherence, which is something the Lord achieves for you through the Eucharist because it's his genetics and he mutates your body according to how much of his will you're doing. So the ascension is actually not too complex in the sense that there are basic steps you have to do, but apparently nobody's doing them. That's why nobody's like super ascending at super fast speed and all of that stuff. So yeah, it's interesting. I'm observing everybody because I'm wondering what's missing for everybody and what are they supposed to know? What do I know? I'm constantly comparing notes with everything that's around me in a way to know if there's something else I could like tweak for myself and obviously to teach later on. So I said the human ascension starts with Catholic baptism, weekly confession, and daily Eucharist. The Lord's mantle of protection awaits all his prodigal children. The daily Eucharist is something quite important. Everybody's missing that one. It's because that's how you get God's genetics into your body. And that is the building block, the foundation, the stone, you could say, for a higher consciousness. And it's just editing your genetics. That's what's happening. If you're not taking it, you're not achieving anything in your life. Obviously, there are graces and all kinds of things if you're doing good things and stuff, but there's only so much you can mutate by yourself, which is why the Eucharist is there, if you want something more proper done in your life. So, yeah. Court cases, my pal and the Indian man. So I didn't know if I'm going back to see my acquaintance. Because in the first time I talked to her, I was trying really hard to convince her to accept the blessing, but she was completely against it. So I thought, well, I kept hearing go back, go back, go back, go back, go back on repeat as I was driving back home, and it drove me nuts. Because I wasn't sure if it's me saying that from the perspective of my mercy to give the little lamb a second chance, or if it was from the Lord. So the next day, I decided to ignore the whole thing and do what I wanted to do. And I ended up going to two churches because one rejected me and the other one didn't. But I confronted people everywhere, which was good. So it's not like it was a waste of time. But today, well, yesterday actually, because this was written yesterday, today was the third day I went there. So yesterday I went back because I realized the schedule was right, and it was the only place I knew for sure they will accept me. Um, unless somebody had reached the guy already and told him not to accept me. So you will see what happened because he was reading from a card something to do with not being Catholic. And I thought, I'm just going to ignore that. I couldn't even hear exactly everything he said because his accent, he's African. So he said, not Catholic for sure. So I heard that for sure coming out of his mouth. That's all I heard. But I didn't hear the rest of the sentence. So I was like, well, I'm not even in that pile. So I'm not going to take any note of what he's saying, and just pressed on and asked for the Eucharist and got it. So yes, I have to constantly be calculating where I'm going, because I have to have backup. If I want the Eucharist every day and I can't have it in a certain church, I have to go to another one, and that has to be planned, because if I don't know where I'm going, and the program does the schedule has to match. So somehow I have to guarantee that I have the Eucharist that day. So it's not so much about mirroring people and showing them how rubbish they are, and maybe getting them to reject me 3 times, because that's kind of important as well. That's not priority. What's priority is the actual Eucharist. So I have to revolve around that, because that's for me. And I don't care so much about how rubbish you are and you need mirroring for me to point out to you your errors, on and on and on. No, I can do that as well, but you're not priority anymore. It's me who's priority, because I need my upgrades. My upgrades do not depend on you, they depend on the Lord, and that's what the Eucharist is, and the DNA. So yeah, I thought, yeah, I have to really be careful where to go, and I think that's why the message to go back to this church was taking place, because so far this guy's not reject me 3 times. So if somebody in more power comes to him personally, like it happened in the other place, and tells him exactly what to do, and he has the guts, then this place becomes also redundant to me. So yeah, it's kind of a mess. Um, so yeah, I've proven to my pal that she was a liar, and then had to deal with the Indian man. It was a very interesting conversation, and I managed to diffuse him. It was like, it was so funny. So this morning, which was yesterday actually, I went to mass to find the deacon in charge. Or was it like 2 days? I don't even know. He refused to give me the Eucharist, which I have already mentioned in the previous episode. So I had to schedule my trip to the evening mass in a nearby location. So that was last night. I got there on time. Just before Eucharist was given, he read a card that said that anyone who is not Catholic, blah, 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 blah. I didn't hear it. I could not hear what he said afterwards. And I'm Catholic, confirmed by the Lord. So you cannot tell me I'm not a Catholic. It's just no way. And I studied this, and I know what's going on between the Catholics and the Orthodox as well. You can't contradict me, because the sacrament is exactly the same. It's identical. And I know the beliefs, and you can test me, but I can test you too, and I can test you on things you will never have answers. So I went forwards to get it. He did give it to me. All was well. After he left the main room, because the mass was over, I did my usual call out for anyone who wants the Lord's blessing. Everybody stares at me when I do that, because nobody's doing this kind of thing, so hop, here I am. My pal did not come. She got herself busy face down after she waved at me during mass happily. So she's definitely bipolar and a liar, because she told me if I come the second time, she will do it. Yeah, okay, liar. Just like I thought. So she didn't want the blessing after all. At least I have proven to her that she talks crap. Job done. I'm done with her. Next. Then a tall Indian, quite rare, I said, because Indians are usually quite shorter than me, so came to interrogate me. He asked me, he was so, he stared at me for quite some time. And I wondered, is he going to come? Is he thinking about coming? What's he thinking about? And yes, he was, but to confront me, not to accept me, you know. Um, he asked me who I am. I wasn't sure what to say to him, so I said, "What do you mean?" He repeated, "Who are you?" It reminded me of Wally. You know, when it asks, "Who are you?" So yeah, it was funny. I just it reminded that um, it reminded me of that just now as I was just kind of editing the whole thing to start the filming. Um, I said, "I'm the highest seraphim. Do you know what about seraphims?" He said, "Yes." I don't remember if I gave him description like 6 wings and lots of eyes, because that's kind of funny because I could creep them out with that. Um, what church do you go to? So it's proper interrogation, you know. Everywhere the Lord sends me. Where do you live? Who cares? Where do you live? I live here. And he was like talking about exactly where. So I said he was easily swayed. You know, because people who are a bit more like programmed, I would say, demonically programmed, will not give in. They will just be stubbornly sticking to their guns, you know. So they would not be malleable. They would not be open to questioning or answering questions, you know. Um, so yeah, it was interesting because he answered the question. I live here. And then I said, "Do you like living here?" And he said, "Yes." And then I questioned that because it was an interesting answer. I wouldn't live in concrete. Um, don't you want to live somewhere with grass and no concrete? And he was like, yes. And then I said, "A dream." And then he said, "Yes." Like confirming something, but he was daydreaming already, like he remembered something. Um, and then I said, "You can make him come true." He felt lost in a vision contemplating. That's what I felt from him. So he then said, "Thank you." At the same time, I said, "You're welcome," which was funny. And off he went slowly, still kind of thinking mode. This mirroring was so full of nature. It was like heaven. So the Lord comes into some people's rooms, like bedrooms, like when he visits, mostly men, I think, uh, with grass and flowers growing under his feet as he walks. All those who reject him have no idea what they are missing out. So yeah, it can be quite fun to watch His Majesty coming in the room. Next one, Marian devotion. The At the end, the men left the church with the Indian, and then the leftover women. So yeah, it was like a bunch of men left, and then a little group of women stayed. It's like, and then I found the Indian. Well, there were a few Indians, like 3 of them, um, and my pal. They were together, bunched up in the car park, chit chatting, and I think they were waiting for me to leave or something like that. They were like talking behind my back, I think. So yeah, funny. Um, So these 4 women left behind start their Marian devotion on an improvised mini altar made out of a stool with cloth on it, candles, Bible. I think it was a Bible. It was quite big. And they place their wishes written on paper um, and brought it in a little plate and kneeled to pray one at a time. So it was much more than that. It was like an entire procedure. It lasted probably half an hour. I don't even know. So they were serious prayers and they were connecting to Mother Mary because the statue of Mother Mary was there. So I thought that was Marian devotion because what else could it be, you know? Nobody actually explained anything. The priest was saying that is their prayer time, you know, and I'm getting in the way, and he was just faffing around and acting up. But yeah, I stayed to watch. I don't know why I stayed. I think it was just one of the mothers. That's all I could pick up. I couldn't see anything else. Yeah, she needs to change diet because she's overweight, obese. I don't even know what the barrier is between overweight and obese anymore because everybody's so inflated around here. Um, so yeah, that's all I picked up from being there. It was interesting. I've never seen this before, so I've never seen a Marian devotion moment in person. I've seen it on internet, that's for sure, with the in South America, Mexico. Yeah, Mexicans are obsessed. um, except in South America or Spain, where women gather up to the bleeding mini statues with lots of candles lit up. Mini statues of me, Mother Mary. Yeah, so I have seen stuff. I understand what it is. So yeah, they're just praying. I choked to my own non-existent saliva. I decided to take water bottles with me from now on every time I have to confront, because I don't like running out of, when the fight or flight kicks in, I get drained of saliva. I end up with desert mouth. But the microscopic amount of saliva I had in my mouth, I choked on it. So it's so funny. And I didn't want to disturb either, so I was like, like a bomb about to explode. So towards the end, I started coughing when the overweight mother came forward. So I think it was to do with that. I think the Lord was trying to point her out. Otherwise, nothing else happened during the event. I stayed afterwards, So that was the only thing that happened. So I'm thinking, okay. Because I made to myself comments about her being overweight during the mass. So I always think to myself, she's not going to do that well if she keeps going in that direction. And then I choked and coughed when she stepped forwards later on, like half an hour ago, later. So I thought that must be a link. It's got to be. I mean, I have no problem giving people information. That's no big deal for me. It's just I'm wondering if they accept it or not, because if they don't, it's kind of sad, And I had to go through all this mutation, changing diet completely, like turning 180 degrees. So I know how to do it. I know details. I know why. And I can talk forever about it. It's just because I've not been around for long. People tend to kind of deny me or reject me and stuff like that. So I'm like, I can't even help you. Just let me help you, So I guess she is stopped from speaking. That's something else I was thinking about. If there's coughing or throat related, it will be related to speech as well. Someone stopping her from speaking or self-expression, her own personal truth. It might be linked with spouse. It usually is, I said. That's my usual comment. He obviously was not there. So yeah, all these men, non-existent. They just don't exist. They're such cowards. I'm sick and tired of cowardly men. The other three women were possibly her sister and two slightly older women that came by themselves. Before the Marian devotion, the priest was telling me to move and sit on the benches so that women can have their prayer session. Yeah, it was all about what he wants and how he was used to things running, So he was trying to pose that on me. So I was like, no, I'm not having this. Just leave me alone. I told him that obeying his will would be disobeying the Lord's, and that would be idolatry. And he repeated the same thing, and I repeated the same thing. So I was like, he can't hear me. He just kept repeating himself, so I repeated myself too. Everyone seemed to have the same strategy of removing me from the Lord's feet. So if I don't have that feeling of, yes, I'm done, there's no point in telling me to go. But obviously, nobody knows that, so I have to explain myself. He said that the Lord is in the Eucharist, and that is it. I corrected and said that he's everywhere, all the time, and he can see us through the icon too. Then he pointed at the statues suspended above the church on the walls, saying his feet are there. It's like such a stupid comment. Because it was so high up, nobody could reach that. Of course, no one can reach that height, so why even bother with his theory? So I pointed at the feet in the consecrated icon. He has no idea that these objects are first consecrated, then distributed out to different church buildings. He's clearly not aware of much because the arguments continued and became more and more ridiculous. Which is okay, I can keep going. Because I know enough information to actually fight the battle, but it's hilarious when people just keep repeating themselves. It's like they have no arguments left, and they're trying to kind of figure the next thing out or something. I don't know. I have no idea what they're doing. I mentioned that the blessing is not from me, but from the Lord, and that I'm only a vessel. Ooh, you should see him. He then decided to contradict, saying, I'm not a vessel. You're not a vessel. It's like, well, have you read the Bible at all? This guy doesn't seem to be properly trained at all. He can do mass and such, but has no in-depth knowledge. I don't think he understands what a vessel is. So then he decided to take some physical measures and grab the painting off the wall, took it out of the main room of the church and placed it on the floor in the hallway at the back. So I followed the painting there. What else was I to do? I said to him that he's taking God out of his own church. Oh boy. He was trying to show me he's the boss in that church by saying this is his church because he's priest. But I corrected that this is the Lord's church and he's not in charge but the Lord. So he was fuming. I think he repeated himself yet again. So yeah, it was all about, it's when people don't have arguments, they just repeat themselves. Like the drunken guy I discussed in a previous episode. All he could do, he could not string a single proper sentence, just constant swearing. That was all he could do. And he was so drunk, unbelievable. So yeah, something similar, but at a different level. See, it's happening to everybody. One of the women overheard my statement from the other room and felt slightly guilty, perhaps, for the Lord being taken out of the room. So she came to put the painting back. She was going to take it and sneak out with it. But it was such a tight space that she didn't get the chance. I said that shows that they think he's a bit useless because she was going to override him, right? She was stopped by the priest, and so she had to give up temporarily. Everybody was kind of interested in the argument, yeah. But when I'm on fire, I don't even pay attention to who's around. I'm just focusing on the main character and kind of grill them well. So he then questioned why I'm showing up like this. He was like, why? Doing things that no one has ever done before. So I said that I am one of the end time witnesses, and yes, it is true, this has never been done before. I also added that I am here to separate sheep from goats. Here we go, I gave him another topic. Then he confused himself, it was so hilarious, saying, so you are a sheep. I was thinking he lost the plot. I was right. But I replied, yes, I am a sheep. Then he realized his unintended error and said, I meant a goat. Oh boy. So, not sure if anything else was said afterwards, but he ended with, I give up. I don't have everything exactly in order of how it happened because I do not memorize things like that. I just try to render, like in a summary, what the kind of stuff we said. And yeah, I give up, and then he left to his little hiding place, which is his house, which is attached to the church. It's literally in the same building, but he has a door. He has to put like a sign for it's like private, something like that. So I win. So the lady came again and took the painting back and placed it on the wall where it was meant to sit. I offered to help out, but I was sort of ignored, which I didn't mind because later on I realized, after another comment from my pal, that it's good I didn't touch it just in case it drops or breaks or anything or anybody, you know. So I never got to touch it, which is okay. Um, in a way, I was protected in case something happens with that painting later, you know, so that nobody blames it on me. Um, the initiative was brave enough, trying to override the priest. Uh, well, she tried first time, second time she got what she wanted. So yes, we need more people like that, like her for sure. Although she did reject the Lord's blessing on my previous visit and again and again. So yeah. So who knows how things will pan out for her in the end. Plenty of good people, folks, but unless you're kind of like in their bubble sort of thing, they reject you. And that's how British people are, all of them. Um, I guess Americans are a bit warmer, but aloof. Americans are kind of space cadets. I don't know. That was my impression because I lived there for a year. Um, Obviously, I lived in a campus, so I couldn't have said that's the whole America. And it was Utah, full of Mormons, which are obviously not healthy people, in the desert, which is not healthy, and eating garbage, which is not healthy. So yeah, I lived in a very kind of bonkers environment in the States, and I was probably the only one who bought and cooked eggs in a campus. Anyway, so next, moving on to my pal, and that's what I call her, was saying to me that I should not touch the icon because it is precious to people. Right. So I said this comment earlier because I only just added it um, as I was editing. Imagine being me. I'm the only one who gets to carry the Lord inside me, witness his birth, breastfeed him, live with him, watch him 24/7, and soon rule with him. So people are telling me to not touch the icon. It's like, seriously? And I told her who I am. Yeah, she didn't believe anything, just like the Lord said. Um, After I have shared with her about myself, she didn't get anything. She didn't understand anything, didn't believe anything, nothing. Nothing happened. Plus, she was considering me lower than others. So I'm not even equal to other people. She implied I did something with it, which was not true. I didn't even touch it. She then asked, she was kind of walking past me, and she asked who took it off the wall. And I had enough time, literally, to answer the priest. So it wasn't me. Why was she pointing everything at me? Because I didn't do anything. I stayed with the women, but I did not move from my spot. I left the church with them and got home to find my kids came and went, which was so perfect because I don't like drama. I know what's going on. I know my ex is trying to kidnap them to his place. I know where he lives. It's not like he's going to get away with it. Unless he moves in August and I don't even know about it. In which case, I don't know. And then I added this PS here. It felt okay to watch women pray to me, to my ascended quantum me, obviously not the linear me, because they, even though it was funny because I was there and they were praying to me as well, because I'm the same person, the same soul, you know. So it's kind of like, because it just dropped in my mind right now. It's kind of like the Lord wanted me to be the witness of what it's going to be like in the future. Isn't that interesting? Because they will be coming to me asking for everything, and they're constantly praying to me. So I am one. I'm the same the whole time throughout 12,000 years, you know? So it's not like they never prayed to me. They've always prayed to me, you know? Interesting. Okay. So I was okay watching. They would never believe that I'm Mother Mary. No one does. I like to dish out solutions, but whatever I try to do, I would try to do now, it would not work the same way because no one thinks that diet is important, for example, for the body. Um, yes, diet is super important, and perhaps eating as little as possible. Probably 100 calories is more than enough a day, and people eat 2,000 calories. Can you imagine that? Um, you just have to keep your body hydrated. And if you gather up any fat, you have to fast, water fast, so you can get rid of it. Because the body does not function as well if you're gathering fat inside the body, which happens all the time, because it's strangling the internal organs and they're not able to function properly. So, yes, I've gone through so many stages, you have no idea. And the energy production is dependent on having like a perfect body, you know. So the Jews were given lots of food rules. They never got passed on to the Romans, or if they were passed on, they never made it into the Bible. So yeah, you don't know about diet, but Jews do. um, Except they don't even believe in the Lord. So yeah, what a waste. Um, a mother's diet. So I'm just gonna discuss this little PDF I prepared for the mother that was super overweight, probably obese by that point, I don't know, um, to give to her. She didn't show up today, so I'm glad she didn't because I didn't feel ready. I couldn't even print it because the local library opens when I'm supposed to leave the house. And they're never ready to take on orders and stuff. It would have taken me 10 minutes and I didn't have the time. So I'm glad I didn't wait to print anything because I don't like being late to places. And she wasn't even there, so yeah. So when the overweight mother with baby came forward, I choked on my own saliva, which made me cough. I had to go grab my drink to sort it out. I later realized that the Lord wanted me to speak to her, and the only thing I could link her in my mind with is the loss of minerals caused by pregnancy and breastfeeding. And the fact that she has gained a lot of body fat, which means that she's eating processed foods which have no minerals but only sugar. Yes, that is the main problem because I went through it and I crashed. Okay, so it causes chronic dehydration, and that's why I can talk about it because I experienced it and I know what it's like. I couldn't get out of bed at some point. Um, and when my kids were going to play, I would just crash on a bench or something. And I had to figure it out. And yeah, I understand the whole thing now. So yeah, that's deadly. Eating processed food. Don't touch processed food ever. Pizza, pasta, all of that. Bread, don't. Of course, the body doesn't die overnight, but it starts to decay from within because the cells are being malnourished. It's not a joke, folks. So stop joking because it's not a joke. I put this little PDF together in case I see her again. I need to print it though so that it is more tangible and it is something she can physically go back to for reference if she wants to follow the advice. I do not know the state of these people's finances, so I'm just giving them the cheapest option as well as the more expensive one. So I have to outline the cucumber smoothie. That is the most important thing you can do and the cheapest thing you can do. It's so cheap. Just do it. Because it'll keep you in a normal state of functioning, you know. But don't binge on processed food because that's kind of reversing the effects. Oh yeah, I forgot I had this here. This is my email address, mastersophiachrist@gmail.com. I'm just going to hand out things to people with my email address from now on because people might not want to face me when they talk to me, but if it's by email, they might actually put it down and not worry about my presence physically, because um, it's the trauma, folks. It's people's trauma that keep them from speaking up, interfacing, because it's what I'm going through right now. I mean, I have a heart attack every day. I have to speak, not in front of a computer, but actually in person. So I'm thinking maybe that applies to everybody else as well. So I don't want to be chasing after them and then be feeling like I'm invading their space and not wanting to come back to me. So I'm just gonna put the email address there so that they have something. Um, and maybe I should change my signature so that the website appears. Not website, I don't have one. The YouTube channel appears at the bottom. That's clever, isn't it? Because then they access a lot of information from me. Yeah, a lot of it is outside the box. I don't know. A lot of people won't accept many things for still such a long time, at least another century. So yeah, unfortunately. So I've been upgrading, folks, and I'm doing great. But everybody does it at their own pace, so I can't force things for anybody. Um, so I said, mothers must take care of themselves. Oh, did I say this? From the Lord for mothers, message, invest in yourself more. And this came after I finished writing most of this. Invest in yourself more, because that's what I did. And I know that was the Lord's intention as well, because He has my life plan scheduled to a T. And whatever I have done was because He wanted me to do it, even though I wasn't conscious. So I know the process I've gone through, and now I can share it with everybody. And it's all about investing in yourself, your health, your physical health. And it's all to do with minerals and liquids. Water, minerals, water, okay? That's what it's about. Not solids. Stay away from solids. Anything that has too much solid and not much liquid in it, it's not worth eating. Like turnips, even if it's a turnip, even if it's a potato, it's carbohydrate and it's fiber. It's not going to give you liquids. The body needs liquids more than anything. So mothers must take care of themselves so they can maintain their ability to care for their children and lead households. In case you didn't know, the woman is the leader in the house, not the man, because men do not mutate well. They're always behind. Women were designed to mutate faster because they have more growth hormone in the body. So they're high consciousness at any given time. You can just feed them the right food and the right information. That's it. They shoot up. Men will be like, nah, I don't think so. No, I'm not interested. No, that's not true. No, blah, 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 blah. No, I'll ignore you now. So men are so dismissive and so stuck in their ways, stiff-necked. So yeah, it's hard to work with men, really hard. Which is why I keep headbutting myself with them. Diet is very important. A good diet ensures that nutrients reach every cell, organ, tissue, and there is enough water in the body to help cells multiply and create energy. Because at the end of the day, that's what feeds your brain. Your brain needs energy, and if you're not creating it properly, you're screwed because your consciousness is low and you can be manipulated anytime. During pregnancy and breastfeeding, women lose a lot of minerals, which is why making babies is promoted heavily by the reptiles. They want you to make babies. They want the original sin in your life, because as soon as you have a baby, you lost minerals and your consciousness drops. And then you're useful to them. Okay? So all women should stay away from men, because women are much more advanced in the way they're built, and they can lead the world, and they will lead the world, because apparently, I don't know where I got this from. Oh yeah, it was a channeling. The Lord has one, what do you call this? Right man? I don't know, at the wedding of the Lamb. So the Lord has only one um, helper, one man standing next to him, which is his father, and me, the bride, the queen, has lots of women. So when I'm crowned, there'll be a lot of women with me, but the Lord only needs one man because um, I don't know. I think there's a need for more women to take over because their consciousness can shoot up much faster if they have what they need. So, like I said, women are leaders, um, and hands-on and doing stuff and promoting the good stuff, So, and it's already been proven. And Pleiadian society is matriarchal. It's so yeah, we'll have to see what else is going on because obviously, as the time comes, everything will have to come together and everything, because men should be in a supporting role, but they aren't right now. They just aren't. They're in a stabbing everybody role or boys with the boys, and that's it. Never mind the women. They can do all the work. We just sit here and drink. Um, During pregnancy and breastfeeding, they lose a lot of minerals from their bodies, which makes them more hungry. Very important. Because when you feel hungry, it's actually not for solids. That's not what the body wants. The body is asking for minerals and water, but today's society has people thinking that fiber, which is solids, is priority. It is not. Processed fiber turns straight into sugar, which is an acid that drops the blood pH. That is very unhealthy. When people eat too much fiber and the body doesn't need it, it turns it into fat storage. I should add here consciousness also drops from eating fiber because it needs digesting. So a lot of the water, nutrients, blah blah, just go to the digestive system instead of being pumped to the brain and whatever else is important. So yeah, digestion is not actually a good thing. Which is why fasting is promoted by the Lord, and it's in the Bible as well. So whenever you want to enhance or increase your manifestation, you have to fast to get rid of excess cells, and because any excess cells forces the body to diffuse the energy. Because I get like a visual of that, instead of looking like a straight column, like a golden column, you look like a diffused cloud, which you can actually cut through. Instead of gold pillar, you cannot do anything with. You can't destroy it. Yeah, so if you understand the analogy, you understand why fasting is important. I also said here, mind-heart coherence. It comes from the Lord. You need the Eucharist, which is what the Lord is holding, which is his heart tissue and blood. Okay. Effects of sugar on the body. Short-term effects: energy spike and crash, mood changes, increased hunger, dental cavities, whatever. I shouldn't say dental cavities, obviously cavities. Long-term effects of excess added sugar, weight gain, high risk of type 2 diabetes, heart disease, fatty liver disease, tooth decay again. Yeah, it's the same thing, right? Chronic inflammation. Diets high in added sugar may contribute to inflammation, which is very important, which is associated with several chronic diseases. Yes, I thought inflammation. It came to my mind as well when I looked at inflammation, right? So it's quite dangerous, especially if you keep giving your milk away, which is full of minerals. And not just minerals, actually, it's also cholesterol, which helps repair the body. I should write about cholesterol to her as well. But I did recommend good cholesterol for her, so I don't know. Cholesterol lost during breastfeeding. Which is why women really have to prioritize themselves. Because they can become ill, lose consciousness. I mean, drop consciousness, not lose it, but drop it. And you wouldn't even notice the difference. It will just be people looking at you like you're dumb or something. And that's where it's coming from. All the efforts you put into having a baby and stuff, you know, which is why you shouldn't have a baby. You should be a virgin. Original sin does not belong in human life. How sugar affects different organs. If you wonder how human race propagates, women can self-clone, but in the 7th density. So that means you have to be an archangel. Brain. Glucose is the brain's primary fuel, but frequent large sugar intakes may affect appetite regulation and food cravings. I'm not sure if glucose actually is what the brain wants. I don't think so. But this is what internet gives. So, but at least they're fighting excess. So yeah, that's fine. Pancreas produces insulin to help move glucose into cells. Over time, insulin resistance can develop in some people. Well, that's diabetes, isn't it? Liver. Excess sugar is processed by the liver, and too much over time may contribute to fat accumulation. Yeah. Heart and blood vessels. High sugar intake may increase the risk of cardiovascular problems through effects on blood pressure, cholesterol, and inflammation. What they're trying to say is that you end up with micro cuts in your veins, and then the cholesterol has to cover them so you don't die. But cholesterol is actually good for you. High sugar diets may worsen acne in some people and may contribute to skin aging by damaging collagen. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. Don't touch sugar. Don't touch processed food. And there's a list here of processed food. Anything that comes in a stupid wrapper, anything that looks cute, anything that smells like you want to eat it now, like donuts, for example, cookies, ice cream, pizza, pasta, whatever, all that garbage, fizzy drinks, preservative meats. They're quite toxic, actually. If you want meats, just get your own, make your own, or get them without preservatives. There are butchers that do that, so you have to find the butcher next to you. Again, processed. All this processed food was created to dumb you down because the rich want to get richer. They don't care if you live or die. Who cares, right? That's their opinion. And they know how to rule. Again, pastry stuff. Bready stuff yet again. It's almost a repeat of that at the top. Again, I don't know. Wheat. This is all wheat everywhere. You see? This is wheat. Everything's wheat. So as soon as you see wheat, walk away from it. Dairy and desserts. Yes, desserts a problem. Dairy is not a problem. Dairy has good cholesterol because it comes from the milk of a mammal, and it's actually very healthy for you. If you're intolerant, it means you're completely broken. So you need to start cucumber smoothies to recover your minerals, and then you'll be fine. Sugary crap again. I love mayonnaise, so I'm a bit biased on that one. Mustard. Every time I buy it, I never use it, but I actually like the taste of that, which is weird. Yeah, so wheat, no wheat. This more wheat, by the way. I see wheat everywhere. Jello. I don't know. That might have preservative in it. I'm not sure because I never use it. But yes, stay away from processed food, all of it. Note, the Lord asked me to stay with him, so at his feet, and you after Friday. So this was a note for her to kind of explain what I saw. Um, to stay Friday after Mass and witness. I didn't know what I was meant to see, but when you came to the little Marian altar, the Lord made me choke on my own saliva to point you out. I then had to analyze your potential needs, and I knew it is diet related as well as your voice. Perhaps you are not being heard by people around you, spouse, suggesting. I also received inflammation and possibly thyroid problems, which is linked to acidic diet, too much solid food, processed food, not enough water. So yeah, because you will have thyroid problems if you have inflammation. They're linked, definitely. A very strong acid people must stay away from is coffee, because it is a drying agent, just like alcohol, and it destroys soft tissue over time, aging and killing people from within. To cancel inflammation, you must remove all man-made processed foods and drinks from your diet. Anything that has wheat in them is processed. Anything that is just solid with no liquids inside turns into sugar, which causes inflammation. Once you cancel inflammation, your thyroid will function better. I didn't say you can completely reverse it, but it will definitely function better, because I think you have to actually knock out a lot of cellular structure to reverse any problems in the body. So you have to really fast, which is what I'm doing right now. So my fasting is supposed to not just get rid of my body fat, but also remove blockages wherever they are, because the blockages are not real tissue that is supposed to be there. So as soon as the blood starts to accelerate a bit more, or to travel better because it's not being strangled, it will start to kind of melt away the blockages as well. It will kind of like push it out of the way, kind of like a river, you know. That's the visual I just got. I didn't think about it before. So yeah, because if I have blockages, it will be removed for fasting, but it has to be a very long time to do it, you know. Not just remove a bit of fat from the belly or a lot of fat from the belly. I think it will take some time. It'll take months to remove everything. I don't know. So for your voice, you must speak more about yourself, stand your ground, share your truth, so that the Lord can give you more power. So truth is what the Lord is. So if you speak your truth, the Lord sides with you and gives you more power. Do you understand? I'm going through that process myself right now, and it does require perseverance. And some people are scared of making changes all the time. And I'm wondering, well, things will not change unless you kind of shift gears. So whenever you have a different belief from others, you must say it out loud. That's the easiest way to do it, you know? And this is what I'm doing, except I get worked up and end up shouting at people. I think most people see me as, I don't even know what impression they get. They think they can boss me around, especially if they've been there for a while, you know, like a priest, for example. This is my place. And I'm like, well, okay, it's not, but I can teach you a lesson. No matter the consequences. So just speak up. If you lose anyone around you because you speak up, it means they never wanted to be around you, your authentic self in the first place. So yeah, everybody knows these things, but when it comes to applying them, it feels different, because when you're just listening to somebody talk about it, it's not as personal and it's not as applicable to you. It's just like blah 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 blah, you know. But as soon as you start to do it for yourself, it's like, ouch, ouch, ouch. So I made this cool little. I know you see these images everywhere if you're looking for diet stuff. Um, but I started by adding cucumber and the smoothie and the dairy, the salad, and the fatty things like egg, avocado, meat, salmon, eggs. And then I wanted to expand the picture a little bit more so I can fit it on this size. And then I said, add more cucumbers and other healthy foods. And this is what it did. It ended up adding all these fiber. I'm trying to stay away from fiber, but I added it on. So, but it at least it's nuts because nobody eats like a gallon of nuts. It's like it's just something you sprinkle or chew on for a little bit, and that's it. You're done. So I thought it's not too bad. What else? Cheese. I love cheese. It's very high in calorie, which is why you can't eat too much unless that's the only thing you eat and you restrict it to, I don't know how much you need in a day, so you don't gain weight. But cheese is a fat, and fats are slowly digested and slow release energy. So if you don't eat too much, you can keep your weight stable, I guess. And all this stuff is just natural from the garden, you could say, from your farm. Imagine you have a farm. And it's fresh. That's what you're supposed to be eating all the time. Nothing processed. Because people who lived in the countryside never had access to processed. That's why the cities were created, to be introduced to processed food. And then generation after generation after generation, you would end up with children who are becoming more and more subjected to this kind of environment, and they would not know anything because parents would not teach them anything. They would never say stay away from processed food. They themselves would first join it and then pass it on to their kids. That's the problem. So it's the parents that are supposed to be conscious or stay away from making kids. Recommended foods and drinks: spring water, it's a must. It's alkaline. I should say here alkaline because that heals as well. Cucumber smoothies. All you have to do is put some water and a chunk of cucumber and whiz it up in the NutriBullet or whatever you're using. And that's it. Drink it on the spot and don't think about it. Just do it. And you can do that, I don't know, 10 times a day. You can survive off that just fine. You don't need anything else. Just one cucumber a day, you can survive with it. And that's 50 to 100 calories. That's it. You don't need more. But I like food. That's my problem. Dairy, very good for you. Eggs, very good for you. Fatty meats, very good for cholesterol. Fresh salads, tomatoes, salmon, avocado. Avocado is quite fatty as well, and it's not a sweet fruit. It's perfect. I love avocado. I love apples as well. Pears. But these are the cheaper options. So I'm giving you, well, avocado is not cheap, but mostly cheap, right? Everybody can afford that. And if you just stick to a few things that you like, but it's not processed, just keep going with those, Any foods that are directly from the garden and are not too solid are good for reintroducing minerals into the body. Because the state we're in at the moment, we're so broken. We don't need solids getting stuck in our pipes. That's for sure. The Lord also recommends having the Eucharist as often as possible, daily even, because that's what I'm doing right now. This allows His DNA to heal your body faster. I should say here, transubstantiation. If you never heard of it, you can go search it. Only Catholics believe in it, and they're correct. Okay, my kiddies. I'll tell you what happened because I got home. And I asked them to bring me 1 toilet paper, and they brought me 4 and a blue bag. Symbolic, right? Power, blue. A blue bag with other stuff in it. And I said they did bring me toilet paper times 4. How generous. And food. Too bad I don't need it because I'm not eating. Tuna cans. I already have a million of them. I think they brought them. I think their dad took them from his cupboard, so he didn't actually spend any money. Tuna cans. 2 tomato soup cans. I don't like them because they're usually too acidic, but I think it was a cheap option for him to buy. If I did need to eat, I could mix them with something else that's yummy. Yeah, true. Buttery spread and a cheap brown bread. I usually buy seeded bread, which is amazing. I obviously did not expect it, so I sent my ex a thank you. He never replies anymore because he's angry with me. He's trying to steal my kids. So in his mind, he's all worked up about everything, you know. He's busy, busy stabbing me behind my back. He's like, we're not friends anymore. I think that's what he's trying to say. But he bought me stuff, so yeah. Then I went in my teen's bedroom, but he didn't actually give me money because I asked him 60 quid and he didn't actually reply. Didn't even reply, let alone give me money. But he probably thought he'll feed me so I don't die. So it's kind of a not too soft, not too hard sort of thing, you know, in between, but still a creep because he's not supposed to be doing the things he's doing, right? So then I went in my teen's bedroom, which is my new office right now. It used to be my office, by the way, but because she was disturbing bedtime, I gave up my office for her to have a bedroom and lock her in it so that I can get on with my life, you know. So I found the bedroom completely raided, and the word raided is literally what it felt like. She even took bedding, which is single, it's for a single bed, but she already has like a king size bed in her dad's house. She's like a queen there. She's got a ginormous loft bedroom, which is taking up the whole whatever, you know, floor space. Huge. I went in there. She's got luxury. I can't even afford that. So yeah, I don't know why she took the bedding from the bed. It was so funny. Wow. Okay. So she took everything. So I made a list because I looked around to see what is going on. All the clothes, toys, bedding, makeup, school stuff, backpack, everything as if she moved out indefinitely. I'm so glad she took all her garbage to her dad's house because we won't be needing it after we move to our new home and they can remain there to rot. The stuff, I mean. Not the kids, the stuff. Her stuff. What she's got now, I don't want her to have it anymore. So she even took paintings. There were 2 paintings actually, and some storage baskets. Yeah, she took everything. It was weird. I got in the house and I was like, whoa, because I have a paint can next to the door, and sometimes I use it to prop the door open if I need to get stuff out. And that was in my way, and I thought, they've definitely been here. But I did not expect to see a completely empty bedroom. It was so funny. Yeah, so it's funny how I packed her bags ready for her to take. I made room for my office. Yes, because I had to clear out the desk. It was full of bits like makeup and sprays and pencils and pens and all kinds of stuff, paints and electronics, brushes. It was full, and I thought, I have to completely get rid of it all, put it in a bag so I don't have to think about it, because she would have gotten angry if I got rid of it completely. And I put them at the side of the bed, behind the bed, so that it's not in the way. And it disappeared, the whole thing. It's like as if she never existed. Oh boy. Yeah, so it was entertaining. I'm not worried about it because the Lord has it all planned and I know what's coming. It's just that I have to hang in there for a while, another month and a half. So yeah. I think that that's her dad's plan. I texted her about it and she said nope, as in she's not moving out. So she has become a lying monkey. My younger one took clothes and backpack. She never had her own room, so there was not much to take away. I have no idea how I will move them out of their dad's house. Probably if I show up, if I text and say I'm coming to pick them up because they need to choose their new bedroom furniture or something, or I don't know what, or something like that. Because that will show that I moved house. And if I show up with Joseph at his door, then he will take us seriously. And he made a drawing, well, not a drawing, a digital drawing, you could say, of two greyhounds. And he was like zooming in on it, like dun dun dun. And it was a boy and a girl. And I understood what it was. It was like a download for him, showing me and my husband, as in we're coming, dun dun dun, because before this I came across the greyhound twice before. I'm not sure how it's connected, like biblical or something, I don't know. And the other one was my psychic youngest, who was telling me that we had two greyhounds. So I was like, okay, I memorized that. I don't actually want any more pets, thank you very much. One cat is too much for me. Because if he gets itchy from fleas, he starts to attack me. So it's like weird. It's hard to predict when he's gonna claw me. And as soon as I healed one tiny little hole, he made another bigger hole in me. So I was not impressed. So I have to watch out, because as soon as I see him with big anime eyes, it means he's about to jump at me. So I have to watch his face. So I'm not sure what the Lord has planned. He did say, let them go so I can go. But where I'm going is towards stress every day. So I'm like, wow, this is so exciting. I'm just being stressed out all the time. Because of having to face people, I don't feel like I'm teaching. I feel more like I'm fighting. So that's what's doing my head in. I don't mind teaching calmly, teaching. But what I'm doing is teaching fighting at the same time. It's like chopping demons, but it's not a nice atmosphere. I don't like it. So, yeah, I can't fix it. I don't think I'm supposed to do anything else because I'm the lion who roars. Funnily enough, I do roar, so and I can't change it. It's just me. It's me. Okay. Seeing how brave my ex is becoming, taking my girls away behind my back, I realized that perhaps he doesn't know the social services case was closed, because he opened it and I closed it as soon as it was open. So I sent him a message to let him know these type of employees, I'm talking about social services, don't always link all the dots. So Prince, because that was his name, may have forgotten to notify my ex about his failed arrogant plan. So I don't know if he got anything. The enemy's bravery is the sign that their downfall is here. That's the Lord saying it. But he knows stuff, and I don't. I'm blindfolded. So yeah, I just portrayed a simple, similar room to what I've got in my house. Obviously, this one looks quite a bit better than what I've got. I only have IKEA cheap furniture and Amazon crap, and but yeah, it was AI trying to generate something for me. So yeah, that was it. Mass. So this is today. This episode is quite short, so I can't wait to finish so I can go lie down and have a drink. Been to mass in the morning today, to the place I kept hearing come back, come back, come back, come back. Yeah, it was driving me insane because I kept hearing it. It seems that after I dealt with the priest yesterday, he left me be today. So the first day, he sent others to deal with me. Didn't work. Second day, he decided to attack me. Didn't work. He gave up. And then today, he left me be completely. See? But I don't know what comes next time. I can't rely on what happened before because it's always different. People are in different moods all the time. It's like they never make up their minds about accepting or not accepting, you know. It seems that after I dealt with the priest yesterday, he let me be today. My voice was a bit weak, so when I called out, almost no one heard me, but I still blessed two women unexpectedly. I really did not expect that. One was an old lady that did not hear what I said, and she came to find out and then accepted. So, yeah, she was curious. She just came out of curiosity. She wanted to know if she needed to kneel, and I said no. She said thank you at the end. So, yeah, that was easy enough. But I had a woman that was in the church days before, so she seen me before and she was staring at me and then staring again and staring and then looking away and then staring again. So I thought, and then she decided to actually move because she was too close to my range of vision. So I thought, okay girl, off we go. Then another lady came in for confession with her little girl. She wasn't properly dressed and kept pulling on a shawl over her shoulders and chest to cover. Just kind of tank top and that kind of stuff, you know. Spaghetti strap, more like. They looked somewhat Spanish for some reason. I wasn't even sure if it was proper English. She was speaking, but I couldn't hear her. She was whispering too much. She was trying to find out where the priest is, I think. And although I responded and pointed in the same direction she was going, she did not believe me or something. I didn't know what was going on. It was a bit of a hit and miss conversation. And I'm not even in charge there, but I was at the front near the altar, so she thought that I know stuff. I don't know what she was going on about. I just realized that perhaps she didn't know where the confession is being done. No clue. So yeah, that was like an afterthought, unfortunately, because I don't click with things then and there unless there's like a fight, you know, and I have the information already and I don't have to think about it. But this was different, so it's like whisper after whisper and pointing, and I don't know what you want. So then she then went at the back where the booth, I think that's how it's spelled, I didn't even check, and the queue was waiting for confession. The priest was taking his time. Why are priests faffing around all the time? I don't get it. And then he came out. When he came out, he had a long pointy hood called capirot. I had to look it up because I didn't know anything about that. I've not seen it until today. I've seen it in pictures online because I was researching that, I don't know, 2-3 years ago. And I thought, this is not right. I don't want to see this in public. And today I did. I think he was showing off. It's like, hey, look at my special outfit for confession. Oh boy. The outfit really doesn't make any difference. Information you give, obviously, they don't give any information in the confessional. They're not Padre Pio, which is my previous lifetime, because Padre Pio could read the timeline, could actually give practical advice to people. That's why everybody was queuing up, and that's why he had 5 million confessions recorded on paper, because they were giving tickets so people don't fight over the queue. So there was a queue of 2 more ladies in front of her. So I was leaving, and then I decided to stop and ask her if she wanted a blessing, because she was going to sit there for a while. And she said, sure. I was like, whoa, that's interesting. I didn't even expect that. I told her we need to go to the Lord's feet, because I feel like it's a better place. I'm getting used to being there. So it doesn't matter where you are, I will still levitate towards that spot. Probably because a lot of people tried to get me off it. And I know I have to say no, thank you. And that's why I went back to it. Yeah, interesting. So it's programming. I think that's programming. The Lord is programming me. She didn't mind walking back up, because we literally had to go back to the opposite end of the church. But that was okay. She received it and was happy and said thank you. I still had heart palpitations today at home, driving, during Mass. Unbelievable. I don't understand when this will end. It is getting boring now. Yes, I do get bored easily. Because it's pointless. I want it to be gone. I want to be a normal person again, you know. I also don't understand how the healing is taking place. The Lord mentioned erasing my memory because the trauma is being hijacked by the demonic realm. I thought, wow, that's interesting. I never thought of that. Obviously, anything that is unhappiness and stuff like that, like feeling not so good, it can't be divine, right? Right. I don't know. I'm trying to interpret it all the time. I'm trying to kind of figure out what everything means, because obviously I started from scratch. It's not like I know stuff. I know what I've learned so far, but I don't know more than that. So I guess that cannot be done. This erasing of memory cannot be done unless I prove myself a million times over. It's connected to things, and I have no idea what's connected to. I don't know what's pending, what tabs are open. I haven't got a clue. It might also be connected to how many times I have the Eucharist, which makes sense, because if I'm being upgraded from within with his body, his genetics, the more you have, the faster you upgrade, right? And in my dream, I was scooped through the railings of a spiraling staircase, feet first. So I was pulled feet first upwards, up to the sky, ceiling, whatever. Really fast. So it's like whoosh, you know. Which is what's happening right now. But whoosh, how long is it going to take, you know? I wish it was yesterday. Are we done yet? So no idea what the parameters are, how to get there. I'm just doing my best. I just know that nothing will happen for another month and a half. And I forgot to add and a half. And for now, it is all about being persecuted. Yeah, apparently that's the price to pay for a crown. Not the first lifetime, maybe the millionth. So, just portrayed something. I mean, it's AI made and it's not how people dress here, is it? And the AI keeps making Mother Mary so extremely tall, it's getting on my nerves now, because sometimes it looks ridiculous. So I keep having to tell the AI to make Mother Mary the same height. But even then, it doesn't do it properly. So yeah, never mind. Moving on. Oh yeah, I do like the little headband here. I made something similar a while back using crochet. It was pretty. I still have the roses, but not. It was just like 3 of them or something. I don't know. I could make a whole band full of them one day, because at the moment I don't have time for anything. Uh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave you with this picture now. Running out. Forgot to make a picture. Obviously, it's not important. Heading home, my car flagged that I'm running out of petrol. I kept wondering where to go get money so I don't skip days without the Eucharist. The Lord also said He will open the path for me days ago. Well, nothing's happened. Maybe next time, maybe tomorrow. Then an old acquaintance's name popped in my head. So I drove there to see if she can lend me £100 only for 5 days. I have the money, but not on time. So this is what's happening. Not on time. Nothing's on time. And I'm constantly stressed out because I have to fight people. So it's a nightmare. She didn't answer even though I waited 5 minutes at her door. I saw that one of her kids checked to see who it is, but then again, nothing. So I couldn't interpret like what was going on. Are they hiding from me or something? It does happen. So I just left. On the way back home, I walked past her husband. So I stopped to talk to him. Apparently, his wife worked until late last night. She has a new job, apparently. I think what happened is I told her she needs to be baptized Catholic, and I explained to her in depth why. And it's not the first time that I'm trying to feed her information like that, but this time was quite direct. And because there's a church right next to her house, which is Catholic, obviously, and her husband and 2 kids are Catholic, but she wouldn't actually join them. So the family split in half because she's stubborn and doesn't want to join, even though I explained to her what's going on, why she has to do that. Anyway, I think because I gave her that advice, which was plenty, she refused it, and now she's being punished with another job that is draining her. Because that's how the demonic is given opportunity, if you understand what I'm saying. Every time you deny something, you'll be dragged down somehow, and it doesn't matter how it is. It's something that will carry on the draining. It will drain you more. Right, so every time you receive advice from me, do not neglect it, because it will have repercussions and they will be negative, not positive, just negative. So when he said she has a new job, but she had to work until really late last night, and then she was asleep. She slept till noon or whatever. I was knocking at her door, and then her kids went to wake her up. But by the time she got to the door, I left because she said she opened the door and there was nobody there. But quite a bit later, well, after I left, I was driving home and I was talking to her husband. She called me on the phone. I was like, well, now you're calling? Then she called me back saying she opened the door. I wasn't there. Who knows how long that took her? Yeah, probably 10 minutes to get out of bed. Long story short, they don't seem to make decisions without consulting each other, because I asked him and he said he'll ask her, and then, yeah, we'll talk later. So they both said, we'll talk later. We'll talk later. Okay, yeah, we'll talk later. I don't know what that means to them. It might just mean no. And all I asked was £100 for 3 days, 5 days, whatever. And I don't know what talk later means, because she's not called me back, and it's been 5 hours. Yes, interesting. Or maybe even more than 5 hours. Yeah, because I don't know these people like in depth. and they're not the type that will invite me to their house for dinner, for example. You know, they're not like close, you know. They're just people I know. They're both accountants and they own property. Some of it is let. So you can imagine the oddness or oddity. I don't know what word I should be using. I would have lent it a million times over by now if I were them. Never mind. So yeah, quite interesting. And the name just came to me just like that. So maybe it was the Lord suggesting it. And it may have been a test, yet another test. You know, once I pass on information to them repeatedly, two, they deny me by just not caring about what I said, not applying anything. Three, she had a job change, which is draining her. Four, I asked for money. She's not entertained the idea. So you see, things do get piled on, and you just keep descending, and you think nothing happened. You label it as it's not my fault, but it is. So now I'm still stuck on where to get my money from. I can still make one more drive to the same place because that's the only priest that is giving me the Eucharist at the moment, without asking the smarter questions like catchphrases and things like that. And then I have a 3-day gap with no money for petrol to get to the church that does give me the Eucharist. So yeah, I'm in a bit of a trap. And if I'm not supposed to speak up, I mean, what's the point in being there? What's the point in anything? I'm trying to interpret everything, but every time I do something, it's like I'm not fitting in at all. And that kind of closes doors for me. And it has done. There's 1, 2, 3 churches I cannot go to. Yeah. And there's one that's, and the other two are both, I have to drive to them. So yeah. And I'm supposed to be calling people after every Mass to give them blessing, which means every single time I'm pressing that button. So every time I'm likely to be forbidden to come back because they're not giving me the Eucharist. And there's no point for me to be there because that's why I'm going, you know. So if I'm there, get the Eucharist, I can return. But if I don't get it, I don't return because there's no point anymore. So yeah, I made a connection in my mind. Caparot, the hood that the priest was wearing specifically for confession. I thought that was interesting. I connected it to the gnome and the mountain of God. So I keep thinking there is a link there, but I didn't get into the depth of it. And I think a lot of information has been erased as well. Because I looked back a little bit, I went on Wikipedia, and it has been altered by the demonic as well, which I'm going to talk about just briefly. It's just a paragraph. So I copied probably most of this from Wikipedia. I thought it was interesting. So, because I'm not liking the concept, that's why I did that. Yeah, why should anybody wear creepy hats, you know? A caparot is a Christian pointed hat of conical form that is used in Italy, Spain, and Hispanic countries by members of a confraternity. Every time I see that, it's not good. I don't think it's good. It's like something's off. Of penitence. Right. Particularly those of the Catholic Church, which is kind of creepy because the demonic wants to infiltrate the Catholic Church, and it has been doing it since the 15th century quite well. It is part of the uniform of such brotherhoods, including the Nazarenos, and Phariseos. Well, that sounds like a Pharisee, which is not good. During Lenten observances and reenactments during Holy Week in Spain. And its former colonies. Yeah, sorry, I thought there was a comment there. Though similar hoods are common in other Christian countries such as Italy. Capirote are worn by penitents so that attention is not drawn towards themselves as they repent, but instead to God. Just bullshit. Why are you putting cloth? The Lord never did that, so why would you be doing it? I think it's demonic. I'm not liking it at all. Because these people are wearing it all over their face, so they're like covering their entire selves and poking 2 holes for the eyes and nose in the fabric so they can see and breathe, So yeah, I don't think it's divine at all. The Lord never walked around like that, so why should you? It was later appropriated by white supremacist anti-Catholic groups like the Ku Klux Klan. Here we go. The use of the capirote of Coroza was described in Spain by the Holy Office of Inquisition. Not sure if that's holy, but yeah. Men and women who were arrested had to wear a paper capirote in public, a sign of public humiliation. The capirote was worn during the session of an auto da fe. Don't know what that is. I didn't go in depth with the search. I just thought I'll copy paste this because it was interesting. The color was different, conforming to the judgment of the office. People who were condemned to be executed wore a red coroza. Other punishments used different colors. Okay. So when the Inquisition was abolished, the symbol of punishment and penitence was kept in the Catholic Brotherhood. I don't like these brotherhood. What's with a brotherhood? However, the capirotes used today are different. They're covered in fine fabric. Wow, so different. As prescribed by the Brotherhood. My goodness, they're so different, aren't they? To this day, they're still worn during the celebration of the Holy Week, which is Easter, most notably in Andalusia, by penitents who perform public penance for their sins, who walk through streets with the capirote. Yeah, I've seen those pictures 2 years ago or whatever. I didn't like them. The capirote was appropriated by the early 20th century American Ku Klux Klan, a white supremacist and anti-Catholic group. Alison Kinney and New Republic traces the modern uniform to the popularity of the film The Birth of a Nation. Yes, if you want to know what this is talking about, the birth of Nazi America, because the dollar sign, the dollar does not have the tip of the pyramid on. So that's what they're talking about. Birth of what nation? America. Demonic. Whose costume inspiration was not credited. Whatever, doesn't matter. Due to the capirote being appropriate to the KKK, in American history, the capirote in Europe has often been a source of confusion and misunderstanding by Americans who incorrectly believe it to be the Klan. Well, I'm not surprised because all this programming does confuse people a lot all the time. And that's the whole point. That's why there's so much confusion today. It's the era of the gray wolf. And with that, we're done for today. It was a short one, and it's the gnome is literally what came to my mind. And you see, the reptiles, the Nephilim, always trying to introduce a cute version of something that is demonic. um, which is sometimes the reverse interpretation of what it used to be for real, like the truth, right? So if you look at the Merkaba, the Jewish flag, the bottom up triangle is symbol for creation or the mountain of God. And obviously, whoever took it on and created idols, because any object is an idol. If you buy it, if you look at it, if you clean it up and stuff like that, it's an idol. Because it takes priority to your relationship to God right then and there. So, all this decorating gardens obsessively and putting cute little things in there, you don't need them. Think about your soul in that moment. Does your soul need that? The soul is just a ball of light. Yeah, it's just something you can question about yourself because people are obsessed, and I've seen so many homes because I watch all kinds of things on YouTube. Well, I kind of stopped now, but I'm just saying some people would receive gifts and things like people walking around fixing for free people's roofs, for example. And they would go inside the people's houses and they would film what's in there. But those people who have roof problems have a lot of other mental problems because their homes were chaotic, full of garbage, and idols everywhere you looked. There were like lots of little bits and pieces of things that nobody needs in their lives. Yeah, just simplify your lives. Remove garbage, any objects that you don't actually physically use, but you just look at them. Those are idols. Um, it's like decoration. You don't need decoration. Scandinavian, just shift towards Scandinavian. I like things that are practical around me, so I don't usually levitate towards. I even have trouble having flowers on my desk because they start to drop seeds and stuff and makes a mess. So even that I'm like reluctant to have in the house. But otherwise, I don't know what else to give you. So yeah, I don't know what's going on because I only get like streams of messages when something's about to come or something's about to happen, you know. But today's been like peace, nothing's happening. Absolutely nothing's happening. So yeah, it's like as if the Holy Spirit disappeared. Obviously, that's not true, but I'm just wondering what's cooking. What's next? So, yeah, see you in the next episode. Ciao!